Never done that part. Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site. I feel like we got them switched.
Yeah, I do too.
Paula, say hello.
Hi everyone, and welcome to a Thursday afternoon at the library.
We're doing Voodoo Talk.
Yes, Voodoo Talk today. We're back doing Voodoo Talk today.
Brown.
Yes.
Just in our warm-up chat, Paula had this idea that people are not engaging in the way we would like them to, and it will forever be a mystery why they're not. It's probably just our expectations are out of sync. Paula's suggestion is that it's because it's voodoo. And
Yes.
that is a little weird and frightening, and I think it has more to do with stage fright. This whole idea of a one-to-many audience is something that keeps people in a more comfortable format. So for the purpose of date stamping this YouTube audio, I will talk about news. In addition to that, it has the potential to kind of soften the conversation.
Okay.
We're not talking about voodoo.
Right.
We're talking about celebrities.
Right.
We're talking about King's Theater, and we're talking about Starbucks. Now, this is really interesting to me, because this story has Starbucks. Well, Starbucks has introduced their holiday cup, and it's red, like it always is red. But unlike all previous years, it doesn't have any markings on it. Do you know the story?
I've heard a little bit about it.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit about it.
So it went viral, and I saw one redneck barking into his video blog saying, Starbucks is blocking Christ from Christmas.
Right.
This guy's seriously angry. It's a paper cup. So what's really interesting to me is Donald Trump, what Donald Trump has done. Because when you got one guy who's essentially like me, blogging, forcefully blasting his opinion, nobody cares. Well, if everyone has the same opinion and it goes viral, then a lot of people care.
Right.
But it's still not real news. And then when Donald Trump barks, it becomes real news.
Right.
And it's not. This is not newsworthy. Okay? The cups are red without holiday markings.
Right. Because they don't want to offend anybody. Why do you think they wouldn't put Merry Christmas on it?
Right.
Yeah.
So you and I can talk about it. It's not news. Donald talks about it. It's news.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So anyways,
right.
that's in the news. You go, Paula.
Well, I came in today and I saw where they're going to have the people that have renewed the King's Theater. It was a big deal back in the 20s, and it closed down in 1977. So now it's up again, and they've had some big stars. They're bringing splendor back to the community. It's very interesting. I think Diana Ross was there.
Wow.
Tyler Perry has brought his shows there. So they're once again, coming into their own. It's like a circle.
So how long was it out of service?
Well, from 1929 until its closure in 1977. I don't know how
3
long.
decades.
Yeah. And, they spent $95 million to renovate it. So it's a lot of renovation money in Brooklyn. Yeah, so it's
Amen.
a good thing. Yeah.
So how old is Diana Ross?
I don't know how old she is. I don't know, but it seems like, I don't know.
She was popular in the 60s.
Right.
And she was probably 30.
Right.
So she was probably born in 30.
Right. So how old would that make her?
She's 80.
Really?
She can't be that old.
No, she can't be. I just saw a picture of her.
She's probably 70.
Yeah, probably
and
70.
And she still has her voice?
Yes, yes. It's very good, yeah.
All right,
so,
my turn.
Okay.
So, all right, yesterday was Veterans Day.
Yes,
Here we
it
go.
was.
Here we go, Veterans Day. I posted a picture of my uncle.
I saw that.
His name was Francis Joseph Rocker.
Mm-hmm.
I always knew him as Uncle Joe.
Right.
His father was Francis Joseph Rocker, so he never went by that name.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until he died that I realized I had a Francis Joseph Rocker. I always thought he was Joe Rocker.
Right.
So he was, I learned, in a handful of years before he died, he was in a nursing home. About the last half decade of his life, he almost made us a century. He told me he was in the Normandy invasion. No, he was in what's called the breakout forces. So you didn't just, the military strategy wasn't just to invade Normandy. There was also a series of waves, and he was in a wave behind the first invasion. So to our veterans, but they were using a phrase that to those who served.
Right.
And I think that speaks of veterans, people that are currently serving, and people living in debt. It's a more, I think people who serve seems to be a more broader phrase. So people that served, yesterday was a day of thanks.
Right. But we need to, I don't have any other newsworthy.
All right, you got to do celebrities.
Okay, what celebrity do you want to talk about?
How about Barack Obama?
Is he a celebrity?
All right, he is now. He's the end of his second term.
Uh-huh.
And I'm telling you, Paula, who is better looking? Barack Obama, when he made his famous, hang on, 2004 Democratic National Convention speech,
right,
or Barack Obama today?
More better looking?
Who's better looking?
Well, the seasoned Barack is the better looking Barack.
Yeah!
The better looking than what today.
The guy, I just think about Jimmy Carter, who I love dearly, and he aged 15 years in 4.
Right, yeah.
And I look at Barack,
mm-hmm.
I'm just so proud of him. I was proud to have him as my president, and he's better looking. He's still graceful. He's
right.
Michelle's great.
Right.
He's got
right.
2
they
dogs,
still have it.
Kids.
Right. Right.
So that's my celebrity. You got to find a celebrity.
Okay.
You got to go to the.
All right. What celebrity?
You got a better celebrity section than I do.
Okay. Let's see. Where do we want to go?
Oh, here. This is a good one. This is a good one. Do this. Gwyneth Paltrow.
I don't know really anything about Gwyneth Paltrow.
Read her first sentence.
Man, Gwyneth Paltrow is just priming herself for a career as a celebrity breakup coach. In fact, she's pretty sure that if anyone deserves the whole broke the internet title, it's her and ex-husband Chris Martin. So only know her. I know that she's a friend of Beyonce and Jay-Z's, and I know her. She has a famous mother. Who is her mother? I can't think of her name, but she has a famous actress mother.
Moving on.
Yeah, so I don't know. I like her. She's always good. I remember she was in a movie with Mr. Douglas. She's very good. I like her. I don't have any problem with Miss Paltrow.
But it seems like this text is criticizing her for being a little...
You know, she says, when I was announcing my husband and I was separating, and we were trying to follow this specific way of doing it, and the philosophy is conscious uncoupling, and we were like, broke the effing internet. So they said she won't shut up about it, even though, you know, she brought a new term into the internet life. You know, she won't.
Moving on, Justin Bieber. I'm not going to say why he's in the news. I'm going to say why he's not in the news.
Uh-huh.
He is not driving a rented Ferrari drunk.
Okay.
Your turn.
All right. Let's see. What else do we have? I don't know. I mean, Johnny Depp is staring me right here in the face. I always liked him. Apparently, Johnny Depp almost lost a role in Pirates of the Caribbean that turned him into an island-owning megastar. They wanted to fire me. I fully expected to be fired, and I got a call from the upper echelon at Disney, who were courageous enough to ask me, "What the F are you doing?" He's always been a Hollywood bad boy, right?
Really?
Has he been? I've always thought of him as that.
I mean, not like Sean Penn.
No, not like Sean.
Yeah. I mean, he was a true Hollywood bad boy.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one more. You do one more.
Okay.
All right.
All right. You want to say in Hollywood?
Colbert.
Oh, yeah.
The Colbert Show.
Okay.
And the only thing I want to say about him is that he's in the news. He's in the news because he's new in the job and he's fresh.
Uh-huh.
And he will soon be only in the news if he has an affair and gets caught. But right now, he's in the news because he's fresh. One more, Paula.
Okay, CeeLo. I heard he wants to come back on TV onto his show. We wouldn't mind seeing him on TV again. We like CeeLo. He's good. He's fresh. He's very innovative. You know, his dress, the way he acts. So we wouldn't mind seeing him again on TV.
All right.
All right.
What's his name? Call for
CeeLo Green.
CeeLo Green.
Yeah, he's a musician.
What is he?
He's a musician.
He's a rapper?
Yeah, he's not a rapper. He's R&B. Maybe you know how today they mix R&B with rapping.
Okay, done with news.
Okay.
And again, our purpose is to sort of soften this voodoo talk.
Yeah.
Paula has a sense that people are afraid of voodoo talk because they're afraid of voodoo.
I do believe that.
You know, is there such thing as digital voodoo? I think you're going to say yes, because I read some text from you to say that
that is true.
this voodoo is like jerking around with your posts.
Right. Yes. So that's a turnoff for a lot of people. That's scary for most people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
So
they don't want
the
to.
purpose of the news was to kind of date stamp this, to say when it's happening, and I think it did that more thoroughly than any time I've ever done it before, but also to kind of soften this thing. We do want to solicit participation, not just any participation, and that's not true. We engage any participation. We do have a prime target.
Yes.
And it is, so anyone with a voice and anyone potentially without a voice could participate by text. You can read by text. And the instructions on how to do that are in the link to this Google Plus post. And also on the Facebook post, and also on the tweet. So we want to solicit any engagement just because it's more fun.
Right, exactly.
In addition, we do have purpose, and so to engage someone who can speak on behalf of voodoo, who has some experience with voodoo.
Right. Well, you know, we were looking for somebody that could speak on the light side of voodoo, which you say is not existent. You said it's not existent.
I have been misquoted. I never said that.
You never did?
I deny it if I said it. I said in my very brief exposure to voodoo, I've heard nothing good.
Right, exactly. That's what you said. Right.
I didn't say it doesn't exist. So anyone, as Paula says, lighter side of voodoo, anyone that can say something good about it, because I'm not hearing anything.
Okay, right.
Then, in addition to that, I've listened to our voodoo talks, and I realized something that's making me clumsy. I don't want to call this woman by her voodoo name, and you are showing preference to call her by her voodoo name.
Right.
So what I would like to do is call her by the name her mother gave her, which I know you know.
I do.
And it's a little bit awkward, but I call her one thing and you call her another thing.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's all right with me.
Okay, so even though you show preference yourself for this voodoo name,
right,
it's okay to hear me refer to her by her given name.
Yes, it is.
Okay, very good. And it is?
Patricia Jones.
Patricia Jones. Okay, so, and not Patty, she was Patricia.
Right, okay. Pat, yeah.
So Patricia, and I have been verbally clumsy. I've listened to the audios, and other people might not detect it, but I can detect my clumsiness. and I can also pinpoint why, because I kind of don't know what to call this woman.
Right.
So I think this is a step forward.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I did send you the pronunciation. Maybe you don't want that pronunciation.
I am to date.
Mm-hmm.
I'm approaching this. I think my role can be fulfilled as it stands right now,
Mm-hmm.
with offering something to this process without engaging myself in a study of voodoo.
Okay.
And I also feel like to validate her as a person of voodoo is something I don't want to do.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
she's your cousin. Her mother called her Patricia.
Right.
It's okay with you that I call her Patricia.
Right.
So that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
Now, I told Paula we're going to try to develop a real succinct description of what we're doing. And that was one of the points I needed to get past. I need to know what to call this one. So I'm going to try to do that. Another point of clumsiness is that Paula corrects me. So, for example, I say, she's your cousin. And then Paula says, well, she might not be my cousin. And then I say, why is she not your cousin? Well, I just can't believe a blood relative would do this.
Right.
Remember that conversation?
Yeah, I remember it. Mm-hmm.
So this is, me trying to get a succinct description, but it needs to feel right for Paula.
Okay.
So I am definitely the right voice on this. I need to be able to get click and be able to describe something, but also has to be agreeable to you.
Right. Okay.
So I'm kind of trying to come up with a quick, succinct description of what we're doing that is also agreeable to you. So
Okay.
you need to keep correcting me.
Okay.
And then I will, roll with that,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll get something that's more fluid.
All right.
So with that, I'm going to begin. Patricia, in addition to being Paula's cousin, she was also raised much like cousins are.
Right.
Involved in one another's lives. These families joined by a sisterhood of the mothers, which tend to be the closer types of cousins.
Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm.
It's not, in my case, it's not in a lot of cases, but when the sisters are tight,
Right.
those families tend to be tight.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes more than a brother. So at least cousins, I think, there's a history of that. So anyways, this woman, Patricia, loved her kid cousin.
Mm-hmm.
About a decade, Paula's senior, and all of a sudden Paula goes through puberty. Patricia's in her mid-20s, and she kind of liked Paula less.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And in about another half-decade, it turned into what Paula is now describing as a spiritual stalking. We could also say a voodoo spell.
Right.
Paula is articulating it in this way today, but looking back, she probably wouldn't have described it this way.
No, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have. Even from
Paula has learned more about what Patricia has involved herself in as an adult, and this understanding of YouTube. And Paula kind of like, oh, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this is happening.
Right.
So this is an important part, because this is kind of along Paula's road to, you can't fix something when you don't know what it is. You've got to be able to describe it.
Right.
And so I got involved when Paula posted a YouTube video where she was calling for Patricia to get out of her life.
Right.
This is where the description gets a little foggy, because if you look at traditional in the fresh, in one's life, Patricia's really not in Paula's life.
Right.
But if you look at this spiritual stalking, if you look at this voodoo spell, Patricia is in every minute of
yes,
Paula's life in a disturbing way,
right,
in a disruptive way.
Yes.
So
Self-described soul tie with a little something something. That's her own words.
Say more.
Because like I said, she talks constantly, and that's what she told me she did. soul tie.
Oh, right.
Did I mention it to you? Yeah.
So when I say voodoo spell, soul tie
Right.
is
Yeah.
more precise.
Right. Exactly. Soul
That would
tie
be
with a little something something. That's her own words. I don't know what else in addition to a soul tie, but that's the foundation of what was done.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to turn to the screen and I'm going to tell our listeners something. You just heard Paula say, she said to me, now I know that that was in spirit talk. This was not a phone call.
No.
This was not a visit. This was the voice that has been planted within Paula. True?
Yes, true.
And I will tell you, listeners, if you want to understand what is happening here, you need to listen to Paula and not get so hung up with what's happening in what you consider traditional social interaction and what Paula is describing as spiritual interaction. It's a constantly stumbling point. This spiritual interaction is as real to Paula as the other stuff.
Right, exactly.
So I see the video, and I kind of have this idea I can involve myself. And of all the people who are unqualified to do what I am doing, I am equally unqualified with like 99% of the population. There's 1% of the population who might be professional mental health professionals.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Phil, wouldn't he be awesome? Someone who is engaged in voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That would be 1% of the population. And there's everyone else.
Right.
So I'm in that. And this is part of why I'm not involving myself too much in voodoo, because I think if I'm going to assist in this process, I got to be recognized that I'm not going to get into that 1%. I'm not going to become Dr. Phil, and I'm not going to make a study of voodoo.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to operate within the qualifications I have to date, which is tied with 99% of the population. And we finished our second voodoo talk. This is our third. And you said, I'm going to explain what she wants.
Right.
So, Patricia, you can say her voodoo name again if you want.
Osei Mchawi.
Okay.
And her organization, Oma Obatala Igbe. Yeah, because, I'm listening to her. Otherwise, she's, telling me that they wanted to ride my sex into the new age. They wanted to ride me and my husband. Where is he? No dates or nothing, but that's another Oprah. They wanted to ride me into the new age because they can't come into the new age. That's their word. They use new age. I'm not using new age. I'm using the return of Jesus Christ. But they cannot profit from that. But on me, they can. Through me, they can. She talks about me having sexual intercourse with my husband, and she's like, oh, she gets the reward through me. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely not.
But this is what I've come to understand, and like I'm listening to her, so it's a thing of seeing the brightness.
Hang on. All right. This sounds like some twisted, perverted voyeurism kind of thing.
Right.
Experience sexual pleasure through someone else's sexual activity.
As always, yeah.
And it's sort of that.
Yeah.
You're not denying that.
No.
Only it's spiritual.
Right, exactly.
I'm going to tell the real life version of that. It's horrifying.
Mm.
In Italy, during Hannah's childhood, there was a serial killer on the loose named the Monster.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably eclipsed any serial killer of the world. Not in how many he killed, but for how long.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 3 decades.
Uh-huh.
And these victims were killed in very precise ways that there's no question the same person was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So he haunted Florence for like 3 decades, and that included Hannah's childhood. And he was the Italian people, they live with mama
Mm-hmm.
into their adulthood.
Right.
So these young Italians have sex in their cars.
Mm-hmm.
And these old Italian men sit out in the woods and watch the cars.
Right.
You say, right, like, that's supposed to be weird.
Well,
Why do you say, like, that's, you say, right, like, that's normal?
But my life, you see, it makes me, the life that I'm living, it makes it, not that that's normal to do that, but I can believe that goes on because what's happening in my own life.
Okay.
It's not shocking to me.
All right. So I became introduced to the monster sort of by chance in conversation with Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we've been married for 10 years, maybe a half decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was just like, what? You watch the car?
Uh-huh.
You know, can't you buy Playboy?
Right.
About some internet videos, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But for you, it seems like you can understand people.
Not that I can understand it, doesn't shock me. It doesn't.
You don't understand the motive, but it has been introduced to you in such a way that a new occurrence of it doesn't seem.
Right. It doesn't seem outlandish.
All right. So Ty the monster experiences sexual pleasure through watching cars.
Mm-hmm.
They literally, like, the cars would rock.
Right. Right.
And this would, they know what's happening in the car, and this would be sexual pleasure for them.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting out in the woods at night.
Mm-hmm.
Compare what the monster was getting with what you think Patricia's getting out of you.
Well, she's not getting anything right now because I'm celibate. But, you know,
you got to actually be doing it.
Right, exactly. I've been celibate for about
Look at the game, girl.
20 years. You know, so there's...
So does that disappoint her?
Yes. Yes, I'm sure it does.
Oh, my God.
I'm sure it does. You know, I
was. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
So the monster would see these cars rock, and it is believed. By the way, in some, the FBI got involved. It's an Italy crime, but they borrowed some people from the FBI,
Mm-hmm.
and the FBI analysts claimed that the monster
Mm-hmm.
was impotent. So impotent men can still get sexual pleasure.
Right.
So here you got this guy in the woods watching these cars rock and getting sexual pleasure.
Okay.
This is an in the flesh. Do you think if you were sexually active again, that she would be experiencing sexual pleasure in the flesh sense?
Yes. She told me.
Oh, that's weird.
It's voodoo. It's voodoo. It's voodoo. So I don't know, you know, this man, she saw us getting it on and was just so overcome with he was just so magnificent. Where is this man, Tom? I'm 60 years old, no dates, no nothing. So are you going to hold me until I come upon this man so you can experience this sexual pleasure? You know what I'm saying? I mean...
All right, so when you finished last time, you said, and I know what she wants. I had this idea. You knew how she was going to get it. And then somehow, game's over.
Well...
You don't know how.
Well, not now. I mean, we're talking about her on the YouTube. You know, I mean, anything that she was trying to bring to fruition, like holding me until I got this husband, man, or whatever, that's over now. You know, and it's very, very hard for her. Very hard. And I experience ugliness because of it. You know, voodoo ugliness, you know, but, you know, that's a major reason. Now, you know, that's her talking to me about, you know, seeing this man, because she was going to take from this man, you know.
What do you mean take?
take qualities.
Take quality. Say more.
Goodness, the intellect. She said you never had a man that had anything, but this man is special, and I was going to take.
This man is the mystery man, not a man you've had.
Right, a mystery man, right. Well, you know, a man that I is supposed to be this husband of mine that's coming, and I'm 60 years old, you know. Not that you can, you know, that you should put a period because you're 60, but, you know, I'm not dating. I haven't dated. There are no suitors. There are no men. You know what I'm saying?
All right. We're changing subject.
Okay.
Still on voodoo.
All right.
Listeners. Why don't I get my image up here? Listeners. At the conclusion of Voodoo Talk Dos, this is Voodoo Talk Tres, Paula agreed to get me an address for Patricia, and I wrote her, inviting her, explaining that we'd mentioned her on Voodoo Talk and inviting her to engage. So partly just to protect myself, we are talking about someone specifically, we've identified it, we're making claims, and these claims are not positive. So that person has been invited to engage and has been accused of some things that are negative. They are spiritual crimes, not crimes of prosecutable by our justice system. And that person has been invited and would be encouraged to be a part of what we're doing. Paula believes Patricia is hanging on to this curse for this man. This is really abstract for me, so I don't quite get it. And I don't get how that would ever come to conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I don't understand what she wants, so I don't understand what it would look like when she got it. Do you know?
What do you mean got it?
She wants you to have this man, and so she can.
Well, she wants my life. She wants the life that I will have with this man. She says this was supposed to be my life.
But you don't know how she would get that satisfaction.
Well, she said she would just...
Let me try it this way. So, when did Patricia get engaged in voodoo? 25 years old.
Possibly, yeah.
So she's in a elementary voodoo class. I say, okay, for your first project, I want you to describe who your target is, what you're going to do to this person, and what you want.
Right.
And then you write what it would be like if you achieve your goal.
Mm-hmm.
What would Patricia say?
I would have a beautiful life. A beautiful life.
At your expense.
Right. She would just fizzle.
Patricia can't get this curse satisfied unless it's at your expense.
Right.
There is no happy ending to this curse. It could
not
be.
Not for me.
Not for you.
Not for me. No.
Well, it could be for you if she releases.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
to have this curse go to fruition,
mm-hmm.
it must be at your expense.
Yes.
Well, that's obviously a bad goal.
Right.
So the other way is to get her to release you.
Yes.
Tell me about that. That sounds better.
She has,
way better.
Well, I don't know. She's dug in. She's dug in. She says, I'm not coming out. I'm not going to help my organization. I'm not going to do anything to come out of here. She says, I'm embarrassed, I'm hurt, and I'm not going to do anything.
Embarrassed and hurt. Tell me more.
Yeah, embarrassed, hurt. It's a lot of static. You know, she's hated. And I don't know which way to turn, which I believe is a lie. You know.
You don't know which way to turn, you believe it's a lie.
She says, I don't know what to do to to come out, without, you know, without, she wants to be good, but she doesn't know how to come out to be good. She wants to walk around and she wants to hang out with me. She wants to be with me.
She wants to get out of this thing.
Right. Maybe. I don't know. She's
Maybe.
As far as I know, she's dug in. But she says if we can hang out, then I'll move forward to do what I need to do, to get the people together, to erase what I've done. Not erase what I've done, but, to make it good. I want nothing to do with her ever again. She wants money. She wants my life. She wants to travel with me. You'll never invite me to go shopping. You'll never invite me over for dinner. You'll never tell me to come and let's go shopping and stuff like that. No, I don't want anything to do with you. So what am I supposed to do? Come out and do what? So I'll stay in here. So, I mean, yeah.
Do you think wanting her kid cousin back is part of what she wants?
Yes, I
Say
do.
more.
I do. I think that
Let me
she.
interrupt you. Listeners, this is a personal issue for me. I'm the youngest, my generation of, well, on both sides of my family, in the neighborhood of 30, 25. And so I know what it's like to be a kid cousin. And I know that in many ways, I'm far less attractive as an adult man than I was as a kid cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And a kid cousin can't come back for those who miss him or her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying.
Right.
So say more.
Well, I mean, we were both adults. When I started, I have another cousin that was born the same year, but he's a man. He was a boy. So when I came, I'm a girl, and I took the shine away from her. She was the only girl. Then came the boy, and then me.
But she still liked you until you reached puberty.
Right. Yeah. So started, filling out as a woman.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to shop with you. She talks about my sisters, but those are my sisters. You're not my sister. And that all of this has happened, all of this pain, voodoo, and all of this blood and all of that. What are we going to do together? Where are we going? I want to fly with you. I want to be with you, and I want to be seen with you. That can't happen. Do that Jesus thing with me.
What's that?
That is, loving her despite the ugliness that she, the Bible says that you love your enemy, but you're not supposed to be a fool. The Bible says love your enemy. That's cool. And if I had any kind of, not that I'll get over this. I don't hate her, but I don't want her. I don't want her. But I don't hate her. We're not buddies. We're not going to hang out. So I don't love your enemy. You can love your enemy, but you can't invite them back to continue the destruction. I could never trust her. You know what I'm saying? I could never trust her. So
I think you could.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't think so, Tom. I don't know. You were good.
Here's why I think you can't.
Uh-huh.
Which also says why I think you can. Paul, I listen to you, and you blend the traditional in the flesh social interaction with the spiritual.
Okay. Am I doing that?
Yeah, you hear yourself. Listen to our voodoo talks. Listen to yourself talk, and imagine it from the ears of someone else. You will hear yourself do it. It's crystal clear.
Okay.
You went listening to you, and this is before we got on Voodoo Talk. When I first, remember when we met in the Manhattan Library?
Yes.
The first time we met one-on-one, and I detected it immediately. I thought, wait a minute, Paula, is this traditional in the flesh?
I remember you asking me that, yeah.
And that's where I thought, okay, I think I can help, because I can help. They're so tangled together that you can't articulate the difference. I can help you do it, and I think I have a little bit. But the reason why I think there's place for her to trust is if you understand that spiritual sarai has been surrendered.
The spiritual what?
The spiritual spell has been surrendered.
And what does that mean?
She still is. The only reason you want to believe she's not a blood relative is because of this negative.
Right.
But if there's a surrender on the negative, those two parts that you blend together should differentiate. And Paula, you are cousins. I know you are. You were raised as cousins, your mom or sisters.
Right.
If you had evidence that she wasn't, if it was a brother, if there was like different dads and a kid was raised separately, but telling you were cousins.
Right.
And that has a possibility to, it's family, Paula. It has a possibility to heal if the spiritual torment would surrender.
Right, exactly. Maybe, I don't know. Are
you sincerely willing to consider that it might, because of what I said, or because you really believe it?
Because you, for me, is very, I don't know. I never thought of that.
Family has power.
Right.
And when you put power on overdose, when you take power and put an evil tablet in it, it comes out to what's going on with you. The power of family can be equally powerful and good.
Which family?
I'm just saying family.
Family. Oh, yeah, family is everything.
Well, in crisis.
Right.
And that's what keeps us from falling apart and falling into crisis. Knowing that if we do, we got something.
Right. I don't think she's mature enough to be anything but what she's being right now.
Yeah, and I don't think she is either. She might fool both of us.
Okay. I'm open to that.
What are we doing? Is this helping?
Yes, it is. It's helping.
Tell me more.
Well, it's letting me see, another possibility. It's opening up the possibilities. But you have to understand that it's so very, very negative. It's extremely negative. She has things that she threatens to do between me and my son. The pain, the blood. So it's extremely negative for me to see that it could be turned around, because she spews negativity all day. So the fact that you would say that it could possibly be turned around is like awesome to me. It's like I never thought of that. I never, she jokes about, y'all know if you know Alanya Vazant. She's a lady that does, she brings people together for healing. She says, let's go on that show and be healed in it. But it's a joke to her. She thinks that's funny. So you have to have two people that want to move forward in that way, don't you? For me, as a daughter of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I can say that my heart is not full of hatred, but I still don't want anything to do with you. I don't want to fly around. Like I have older cousins that she wants me to treat her like them. But that's not you. You've done this awful thing, and you won't budge. You don't want to, let's meet in Atlanta and go to the tea like you want to do with the other cousins. But that's not us. Now you saying that could be us, or what do you say?
It's family. Anything's possible. No matter how broken the relationships is, family can be healed.
Voodoo, even voodoo.
With the voodoo surrendered.
Okay, wait, yeah, well,
Only
right.
the voodoo surrendered.
Well, you're good. You're extremely good to think that I could travel and visit and hang out with this woman.
No, of course you could.
Well, what do you healing on what level are you talking about?
Just personal experience. Death of my firstborn son,
Right.
David,
Right.
2007. Wow. I had cousins that were just instrumental in my healing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of several, Amy, I was 2007, I was 2004, I was 40. So I was 40 and a couple when David died.
Mm-hmm.
So I hadn't talked to Amy in 3 decades. And, we're talking about seeing one another at a funeral, minus that,
Mm-hmm.
any serial presence in one another's life under some high frequency would have been at least 3 decades before, probably 3.5. And even then, she was a girl cousin.
Uh-huh.
And I had boy cousins. It's not like she needed me or I needed her. She had girl cousins. I've got boy cousins.
Right.
You
do your thing, I do mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I had another cousin, Brian. These are 2 different families who was instrumental in this thing. He dispatched these phone calls with my cousins. So he actually helped me we went through a list.
Right.
He's a very disorganized guy in the way he thinks, but yet he got really organized and really focused.
Mm-hmm.
And I credit him for that. He might credit me for that. I don't know. But it was really out of character, the fact that we pulled this off. Because I didn't think I was doing it. I think he was. Whatever the case, I get my call with Amy, which was the longest of all the cousin calls. And here, how do I know?
Mm-hmm.
Because of what happened with Amy over 90 minutes.
Uh-huh.
It was like if everyone had a little tablet they could give you. Now there's a visual drug, physical representation, which I don't mean, but if you could go to everyone like Catholics do at church,
Uh-huh.
without your tongue, you get a wafer, a wafer from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Those wafers in my healing, those wafers from family were Mach 10.
Okay.
And I had good friends who were helpful, but they couldn't do what family did.
Mm.
And I mean, you could almost mathematically say, well, if Amy went to the stratosphere and other friends, a collection of them, could never have accumulated what Amy did.
Right.
However, my garden variety contributions of other family members, maybe 10 friends,
Mm-hmm.
could do what one of them. So it's a huge difference in ratio, and I would never have guessed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, the woman with the surrender of voodoo has that potential. This voodoo is so, I use the word perverted. Perverted draws sexual, and there's sexual in this, but I'm not using it that way. It's perverted in the way it perverts traditional interaction.
Right.
This woman is manipulating what goes to you, how it goes to you, and you don't get a voice back to her. It's not an exchange.
Right.
So you have never, in my assessment, you have never had a relationship with this woman that is anything that represents peers. You are a kid cousin.
Right.
You are like a puppy dog.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you come into sexual maturity,
mm-hmm.
now you're sort of competing,
Right.
and then she gets into this twisted voodoo thing.
Right.
So you have never, so you're saying it can't exist, but I'm telling you it can because it has never existed to date. The potential is there because she's family. She is a cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had experienced what you have not experienced before, you might realize, wow. And she might realize, I don't need this voodoo. I don't need to have the upper hand with Paula. I just need to let Paula be Paula. I need to experience her. Because what you have the potential to get, what Patricia has the potential to get, is what she lost, what she thought she lost when you sexually matured.
Mm-hmm.
Inside you, Paula, and I'm not saying this exists with everyone, but I believe it exists with you, that your process of aging has not removed who you were as a child.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's still in you.
Right.
This authentic, who was Paula when she was 4?
Mm-hmm.
Who's Paula when she was 8?
Right.
That's still in you.
Mm-hmm.
And if this woman, Patricia, is open to it, she can find it.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Meadows. It's this high-priced celebrity rehab. I was invited to Family Week. Though my sister is not a celebrity, she had enough money to get in this program. So in the time after, I was at work, and I was in the property settlement of ending my first marriage.
Uh-huh.
And this email comes up and says, have you, she referred to my ex-wife by name, Angie, have you and Angie decided who gets Winky?
Uh-huh.
Winky was the pet that I never liked. It was a ridiculous story. And here I am. I have this corporate job, relatively high status, relatively high salary, and I'm there in my office, and this picture of this Winky, because it had an eye, the doctor took the eye out when it was a puppy, so it was called Winky. And I thought, oh my God, there's my sister's humor. It's back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was partly to credit to this rehab.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because in sort of a similar thing that you went through, I was a kid, I was very attractive to her, and then I became a man, and my kids became very attractive to her. Mm-hmm. And I don't think she ever knew who I was as a man.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And quite honestly, what she knows of me as a man, I think she kind of doesn't like. We also had this, I'm going to make a big confession. We were puberty-age kids, and we were playing pornography in one of the rooms when my parents were gone, and she found my friends, and I was part of this whole thing. Do you remember, this was before videos, this was before internet.
Right, yeah.
All these puberty-age boys.
Right.
Oh, God, I love that. And she went crazy. She took scissors and cut up the film.
Oh, yeah.
My friends still talk about it today. So obviously this was a part of me, sexual maturity, just as like,
right.
Why can I get them back? Well, then I had kids, and my kids were those kids to her. She loved my kids. I never even knew it. She loving my kids is kind of like loving me. But then when my rift began with my kids, I realized, oh my God, she has no interest in me. Right. At all. And with the death of David, I believe that with a productive healing process, that there is still that authentic part of me that drew her attention when I was a kid. Right. And I believe it's still in me. And if she were willing to try to find it, it would be there. So let me tie two things together. That picture of the dog was me saying, oh my God, that's my sister when I was 8. Right. Now this dog was long after I was a dad when this dog came into my life, but that humor in my sister is the nuance that I have not seen since I was 8, since I was 10, since I was 12. So, but it was still in her, and it was rehab that let it resurface. Right. And
I have no reason to believe she's ever seen evidence of. I'm not hearing you anymore. We're not on. So that ended it. Our battery's dead. I wondered about that. So what I'm saying, that was an abrupt end, but that's okay.
What would you say? North. So you can't, what you can't lead a horse to water or whatever. Like, how does it go? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So it's like dead. She's not, as far as she is concerned, she's not budging. So how do you get her to budge? How do you get them to budge? I mean, it's a whole organization. That you have the Oma, and then you have the men's group, the Oma.
You obviously want my opinion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This third voodoo talk
Right.
is it.
You think so?
No, I mean, didn't you feel more comfortable today?
Yes, I did. I did.
Why?
Because we're going deeper. For me, that I was getting a real connection with you. As far as another possibilities opened up for me because there were none. I didn't feel any.
Okay.
A hope.
No, I will answer the same question. Is that for me, it was you promoting this.
Mm-hmm.
That to me was you saying, we're going to do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as I told you, the frequency, whether we do it a couple times a month or never a lesser frequency,
Right.
You promoted it to say, this is not only something that seems to be a plus for me, or at least it's not a minus.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be too generous.
Uh-huh.
But at least it's not a minus.
Mm-hmm.
You're willing to involve other people,
Mm-hmm.
people who know you.
Right. Yeah.
I'm willing to involve people on the internet. They're, clickers.
Right.
When they show up on my click history part, I know nothing else about them. But you're involving and engaging people you know.
Right.
That to me says that you have taken a step to get more comfortable with this.
Okay.
And I am telling you that from what I see with my click history reports, it is provocative. Mm-hmm. And it is getting and retaining attention.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as soon as you start something, And remember, we're not spending any money to promote it.
No.
And to temper this, we're also not the next Psy. I always use him as the Korean.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, he was in the news again in South Korea. You know how his dance was like this?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they made this huge golden hands in a Seoul, South Korea plaza.
Oh,
It's
really?
a tribute to Psy, and it was commissioned and released. So, anyways, we're not going to be Psy,
Right.
but I'm telling you, we are getting and retaining the attention we keep. We are keeping the attention we get.
Oh, okay.
So, what does that say? When you get some attention and you retain it, and then you do this over a period of time, it's going to grow.
Okay, I believe that too.
So if I were to put myself in Paula's shoes and say, you know, she got her letters, I haven't gotten it back. Yours haven't come back either, right? So this is not a secret to her.
No, it's not.
And if she wants it to go away, she would look for evidence of it going away.
Yeah.
And with this week, you've provided evidence that it's not going away.
Right.
You announcing this to your friends in a direct way, the way you did, is evidence to Patricia that this isn't going to vanish.
Right, right. So I do want to ask you too, what do you think about this, you know, distributing this? Do you think it's necessary, or should I wait, or?
Is this sticker paper? Why is it double thick like that?
Oh, this you know.
Oh, you fixed it.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
Yeah, Voodoo Jail, help me out.
Yeah.
I tell you, with all the internet, to go back to a traditional form like this is just great.
I mean, I don't see it hurting. You know, it's just, you know, where do I distribute it? You know, I did call the police to find out how to distribute it over by, because they have a community liaison, but they never got back to me, because I don't want to be illegal, you know.
If you are, your offense is minor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just with something like this, as long as you stop when you're warned, then you're okay.
Because it's derogatory. Is that the reason? Well, they would consider it hateful.
Oh no, I was thinking just like in the neighborhood of litter. You know, it's basically litter with your name on it.
Oh, okay.
You know, so. But no, I don't think you're. You know, and this is not hate. I don't think it is.
You don't? It's, even with protests, you can't. Because I was going to go on the steps at, you know, of Brooklyn Borough Hall with a sign. You know, I don't know if you can assemble you like that. You know, because I don't want to go to jail. Not even for a day. You know, I have no record. I don't know about you. I have no record. I don't want a record, because you know, moving forward, I intend to help people, and I can't help them if I have a record. You know what I'm saying? I can't help myself if I have a record. And so I don't even want to do that I don't even want to be arrested. But sometimes
I think this is. I don't think it can be any. I don't think it's not harmful.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, it's potentially promotional. I think we're still live. See, you dropped off, but I'm still live. So this has been Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site. Paula Brown and I are at Brooklyn Central Library, Grand Army Plaza, Brooklyn, New York City. Oh. Here's what I promised I would do. You know what we're going to do before we end this thing? I'm going to tell you how old Diana Ross is. Right? Isn't that who you said?
Yes, Diana Ross was over in King's.
The
King's Theater.
Diana Ross. She was born at 44, so she's what?
71.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she's still got her voice, because a lot of, in general, I mean, opera singers anyways, the women lose their voice before the men. Sometimes the men don't, period. Sometimes they have them right till dying of a late age. Oops, here we go. All right, ciao.
Ciao, everyone.